staggering 7% of high school athletes make it to college. For me, I'm one of the lucky ones that got to play at the next level and play the sport that I truly love. Baseball has taught me many things. It has allowed me to go to college. It has allowed me to pursue a degree in a major that I want to be in. And even though IUSB is no Vanderbilt or Purdue or Vandy for that matter, it's still an awesome achievement for both me and my family to say that I played college baseball. The most important thing with my recruiting journey was the life lessons that it taught me. It taught me to bet on myself, it taught me to stay persistent, and it taught me to always carry a positive attitude. And I think the positive attitude is extremely important, and I will continue to reference back on that later in this speech. But the first thing is to always bet on yourself. I think it's important to be a little arrogant, to be cocky, to show that you believe in yourself, that no matter what, when the chips are stacked against you, you can go out and be great. And I think all elite competitors, which I strive to be an elite competitor, all of them have the same thing in common, is that they are cocky and they are arrogant. Not to an extent of being so cocky and arrogant that you can't stand them, but they have that swagger and they just know how to light up a room and be great. And one story of me, I guess, betting on myself was very early in my recruiting process. I was at a school for a camp, and the coach, he was really into me. He wasn't into me enough to give me an offer to play, like scholarship money, but he did offer me a spot on the team as like a preferred walk-on, which is whatever. But to continue with the story, he offered me the spot, and I was kind of excited because it was a big school, and I tore my labrum in my right shoulder, like a partial tear, and I thought that it'd be the decent thing to know, or the decent thing to do, to let all those schools that were interested in me know what I had done to my shoulder. And then when I told this coach, he kind of just ghosted me, the same as how you would get ghosted by a girl on Tinder. And unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I think that everything happens for a reason. And that day taught me to bet on myself. I changed my whole mental attitude about how I was gonna continue my recruiting process. I wasn't just gonna be one of those also-rans. I was gonna be great. I was gonna go and do awesome things, and I was gonna always believe that I was the best. So my second thing that I learned from my recruiting journey was to stay persistent. And persistence is something to me that my parents did a lot of in shaping me to be the person I am today. I think a persistent person is someone who, no matter what happens to them, they can scratch and claw and get to the finish line just because they will themselves to do that. And I always try to be as persistent as possible. And a story I had that taught me true persistence was, I had a dream school, and they were on my list from the beginning, since I was like 8 or 9, that I really wanted to go to. And I sent the coach about 18 emails probably, and then he finally got back to me and he said he liked what he saw, but again, he offered me a priority walk-on spot, and it just wasn't right for me. But I knew that my persistence had paid off, and it had showed the coach that I really wanted to be there, and it showed how persistent I truly was. So that's my story about persistence. Now, my last life lesson that I learned was to always be positive. I used to be the person in the back of the class that was negative. I was negative Nancy. I didn't want to be big, or I didn't want to be positive. And I think IUSB really taught me how to be positive. When I came on the visit here, I absolutely hated it. I did not want to be here. I thought South Bend was one of the worst places I could possibly be at. And then now I'm here. And on the car ride home, I just remember my parents telling me, you didn't even give it a shot. And I eventually just got to the point where I gave it a shot, and next thing I know, I'm here at IUSB, and I'm absolutely loving it. Now, the lessons that were taught to me through the recruiting journey, to bet on myself, to stay persistent, to always have a positive attitude, those will stay with me the rest of my life. And to wrap up this crazy spiel that I've been on, out of those 7% of high schoolers that get to go to college, only about 2% get to go play pro, and I hope to be one of those 2%. Thank you.